Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Muddy Boots, Louisiana. It's been a minute since we did a long video between work and being sick and just life in general. April's throwing a few teasers out there in the shorts, and y'all seen some work going on the property. Basically, that's our frontage right there. If you look over there, I've been working over there. That's where the presumed chicken coop or workshop area is going to be. You'll see a project going on in the future over there with some new power lines underground and a whole to do over there. But if you see where I'm standing right here, that's the old road that goes down to the barn. This is a new wooden road. It's called a board road or a mat road. And you can see it's just off our driveway. It ties in to the main driveway that goes all the way down to the road. What we got going on here is there's a company come in and they're going to run a pipeline from a new station up the road a couple miles to an existing pipeline down the road on the other side of the bayou. Actually, I think it's a creek, but creek, bayou, waterway. So we're going to take a little walk down this board run, see what we got going on. Some people say pipelines are bad. Some people say pipelines are good. For everybody that likes to drive vehicles and have nice houses and nice projects, nice hobbies, pipelines are pretty much essential. Down here in the south, they're more than essential. But this driveway, we presume, is going to stay. I think when we talked to them, they had discussed about rocking it. I don't know if they're going to do that after they mat. What they're looking at doing, I think we'll just have to wait and find out what goes on there. Nice pretty little pasture. It needs to be mowed again, but nothing big. I got a big burn pile out there that once we get some rain, maybe Halloween time frame or maybe Thanksgiving time frame, we'll do a nice little bonfire up here, depending on if this is done and kind of cleaned up, or if it stays just like this, it might not be a bad deal. Get a bunch of people to come out with the Jeeps. Got another little project over here. I'll give you a little sneak peek at. That's April's riding lawnmower. I got to get running again. A big square thing next to it's our pop-up camper. You guys have seen that before. If not, there's some pictures out there somewhere. We may try and find a way to link them to it. Over there on that little trailer in front of that yellow basket is a old military fuel tank that's now part of a fuel trailer that I'm building. Maybe this winter we'll get back on that project. And more projects than I got time. One of the nice things, once they're done with this project, is it'll be cleared from way over there to a big point back there. And then our other piece of property on the other side continues to the right. They didn't mulch all the way through and cut that all down, so I'm going to go through and pluck the trees out, maybe rent a mulcher. I'm trying to get a company to allow me to borrow a mulcher for a little while that goes on the back of the tractor. It's a 3-point hitch mulcher. Full-size mulcher. Supposed to work well. There's some issues because I have a direct drive transmission, meaning it's a stick shift, not a hydrostatic. They say there may be some issues there with being able to drive it correctly in reverse at the right pace to be able to allow the mulcher to do its job. But we're working through some obstacles there. Hopefully we can get a company on board to allow us to demo one. If not, we may go rent one. And furthermore, if not, we may just go rent a skid steer with one on it and be done with it. Here you can kind of see the layout. There's a big old gnarly excavator over there. You got a porta potty. You see the board run here, so the pipeline's basically going to be pretty close to where they got their pipe laid out. roughly. The rest of this is all just marked out area for them to be able to work and do what they need to do. At the same time, if you follow that opening right there, that continues all the way down through the backside of our property and links up to another piece of property on the other side that takes us all the way to the road. Now, if you look real close right here about where that pink ribbon is and you look past it, there's a barbed wire fence back there, right behind that medium-sized little oak tree. That's the property line. This pipeline's going to run basically along the fence line, stood off a little bit, but with the fence line from one side of our property all the way to the other. Some people would think we'd be crazy to allow them to run a pipeline across the back of our property. It's supposed to be, I believe, 5 or 6 foot deep. Look like they got their little orange marks sprayed out. I saw a couple of them. That's about the center line of where the pipeline's going to be. Those markings over there, that just means from that point back further towards the east, they're not clearing. They're just going to bore under the ground from this point over to that point. Here is a nice little mulch pile. We had some mulch on the property when they were done with the big mulching, and we asked them if they would leave it instead of turning it under like they normally would. They would turn it in, mix it in with the soil, kind of build it up a little bit and create their area to be able to work. Well, we told them, hey, if you got any mulch left over, we would surely like it, because we have some projects and some plans for the mulch. And they said, hey, we've got some other properties that have mulch and they don't want it. Do you want it? And we said, yeah, we'll take as much as you can get. Well, they came in here with, I think, about 36 end dump trucks full of mulch. And that is the resulting pile. That pile is probably 16 foot tall and probably 35, 40 foot long, probably 50 foot long. And on the back side and in the middle, from the face to the back side, I would probably say, I don't know, 14, 15, 16 foot wide. The plan with that is we're going to mulch a whole lot of areas around some trees, make some garden areas, make an orchard in the old pond. They're going to take the drilling mud or the boring mud and they're going to fill the pond for us, so that'll be nice. We'll come back in, top dress that with a bunch of soil, and then come in and plant some fruit trees. April wants to have an orchard. I'm going to turn the pond into an orchard. How about that? Here's that fence line I was telling you about. Nothing special. That will probably get redone here at some point in time. This will eventually connect all the way through down there. You can see that connects through to the other property. If I have a chance, I'm going to walk through there and see actually how big it is, and I'll show you the other side of it. But if you can imagine, right here on the back of the fence line, there's another road way over there, and I'm thinking of linking that road with this and bringing it all the way across and having a back driveway, a secondary driveway that will then turn that way and go up towards the house. Now, secondary driveway, it might become the primary driveway. I'll look and see how that's going to play out. Thought process is we want a way to bring bigger trucks in here. Why bigger trucks? Well, if I decide to go out on my own and do dirt work, construction, or something, or if I just want to do it as a hobby, I'm going to need bigger trailers, a bigger truck, need bigger access to turn on a better driveway. All that would cost me a fortune. Well, I'm going to get most of it done at this point for nothing, because they're already doing a bunch of the clearing and a bunch of the work. So all I just got to do is finish it up. Now, If you look through the woods, you can slowly start to see some orange stakes way through there. Now, survey crew has already walked it and made a path in there. If you continue up this way, it actually ties into the right-of-way for the electric company. There's a sewage pond up there that's grandfathered in for us to use when the house was donated to us. Up beyond that, way past that double oak tree and that pine tree together, you can start seeing some telephone poles lay out. Well, those are power line poles. And as such, this is an open passageway. I got a down tree up there I got to move. I tried moving it the other day, and she's heavy. I come cut her up and pull her out of there with some heavier equipment. Figure out what we want to do there. This whole area to my right here, if you look at these are actually mayhaw trees. Some of them seem to be doing better than they have done in years. Some of them aren't doing anything, so I think we're going to come in here and clean this up and put something back here and make something happen. You got to understand, we own all this property right here and all of this woods over here. Now, I called it woods. You see everything's really small diameter size. This used to be a pasture about, I don't know, 35 years ago. For all you really young people, that would be ancient times, because that'd be like 1980, 1985. But for those of us that are a little older and we think of 1985, 1990, we think that's like 10, 12 years ago. And it's not. We're way older than that. So this used to be a pasture, and it was used and it was maintained. And after years of not being used and maintained, you get all these little scrub trees that grow up. Most of them are these tallow trees, or what a lot of people call China ball trees. They don't really have much use. So I could go into the whole biodiesel capability of all the little balls that are on them, but that's a whole nother story. Well, let's see if we can't traipse through here, not get hung up with a whole bunch of thorns. Like I said, survey crew come through here once before. We just got to kind of follow them in the game trail, see what the best route is. It's not super thick in here. Look like April abandoned me. She's staying back. She's not coming through. As she'll find out when I walk all the way through to the other side of the property. As we make our way through, there's definitely been some deer running through here. They got their own little game trail. I'll hop over this tree. Well, we're going to try to avoid that poison ivy thorns. There we go. Now we got a game trail. So it's actually not terrible. This whole route through here, you can see the opening over there, down there a little ways. I'll turn around this way. Kind of see the opening there. Let me see distance wise, see if I can judge this. I might be close to about the halfway. It might not be that much work to clear this out. Let me keep cutting through here. Hell, I think with the excavator in a good half a day, I could have this opened up. With a mulcher, I could do it in a few hours. With the big forestry mulcher they had, they could have done it in probably an hour. So, if you look right here to the left, that's an old man's pasture, not on our property. Our fence line ends right there at the trees. But you can see we're continuing down the fence line. Just working our way through here. to this big bad opening. And look at that, there's light at the end of the tunnel. So everything we've been walking through right now is still our property. We own all of that. And we own all this. So this is a giant open area. You can see here's a fence line. Fence line runs all the way down right there where all them party flags are hanging in the air. That's the entrance to this property, where there's a new road. Well, not a new road, there's a road over there, and this is going to be the new driveway. Here you can see piping laid out. The piping's going to run pretty much right down straight through here where these stakes all are. Right there where that stake is. They cleared all this area. It was just as dense and deep as where we just walked through. Pushed up the topsoil out the way. They'll drag that back when they're done. That mulch pile they're going to leave for us. Yet more mulch. You see all the way down there. Once it crosses over where those flags are at the entrance, it gets on the other side of the road. That's the straight line that the pipeline's going to follow. That's somebody else's property. We don't own that. Actually, the people that own that property over there own the piece of property we're on right now. We bought it a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. And about a year after that, the pipeline came in, started talking to us about wanting to put a pipeline in. Well, we got pretty fortunate because they had to pay us to use all this land and to disturb all the greenery and trees and shrubbery, and they have a word for that. I don't know what it's called. Something to do with damages to the ground that they're going to help return when they're done. We got 2 porta potties over here. They got a porta potty over there. They got another big excavator over there. So they got a lot of equipment on the site. They had a tracked flatbed, which those are really cool. You can also turn them into tracked dump trucks, which are even cooler in my opinion. I'd love to have one, but they're $130,000, $140,000, $150,000, $200,000. That's not in my budget. So this driveway entrance right here that's rocked over, when they go to leave, they're going to clean that up, dress that up, but the driveway and the rock is going to stay. So now I have roughly a 40-foot driveway entrance. I can bring some pretty big vehicles in on that. So let's take a walk out here to the road real quick. That's one way, that's another. Our property goes way down there, about to where that truck is, way down there. It's a little big piece of property. We like it, we call it home. I may eventually put a workshop over here. I may put a business over here of mine and April's choosing. I don't know. We've got a lot of plans. We got a lot of ideas. Let me rephrase that. We have a lot of ideas. And out of those ideas may come some plans. We just have to figure it out, I guess. I figure out what we're going to do. That's a sound you don't hear up here every day. Actually, you only hear that once every couple months. That's never a good thing. So is that an ambulance? Is that a fire truck? Not sure who that is. Oh, that is a sheriff's department. He just busted somebody. We're not going to film them. That actually I'm glad to hear, because this road that you just saw leads to the north, and there's a lot of construction up there, and there means a lot of traffic down here. And that traffic is driving fast, like stupid fast. So I'm glad to see the sheriff's department's out here doing their job. They have a hard job ahead of them. I'd say the boys in blue, but our police department's up here, at least our sheriff's department, they wear green, kind of like Border Patrol. And I like the boys in green. I like the green uniforms better than the blue. And I do like law enforcement. I've got a lot of friends that are law enforcement. And those guys and girls, they have a hard job to do ahead of them. So as you can tell, we're going to slip back into the woods. The tree just stole my hat. I'm going to back up and pick that up. This hat, if you like the logo on there, it's not mine. But if you look here, Von Payne whiskey. What that actually is Von Payne bourbon. It is a blue currant that they make a bourbon out of. It's made in, I believe, Clearwater, Florida, and distributed from there. And we were at an event in New Orleans. It was called the Vampire Ball. They host it every year. It's a good costume party ball. People get together, have a good time. Well, they were making margaritas out of this Von Payne bourbon made from blue currants. And it was ridiculously good. They also made martinis. I didn't try one of those. And they had another drink. I'm not sure what that was. I didn't try that one. When I saw the margarita, I was hooked because I really like margaritas. The problem is, I do not like tequila. So, I don't really drink margaritas that much. And you can see, looking down, and you can see all the orange flags. We're just kind of zigzagging our way down through here like other people have. Like the workers have. Something thorn just grabbed me and bit me in the arm. That's why you heard me stop and saw me jerk a little bit. I thought I was being attacked by something. So we do have a lot of snakes up here. We have water moccasins. We have copperheads. And we are close to Texas. There have been people that have said they've got rattlesnakes. I haven't seen any, luckily. I would probably act like a little girl. No offense to little girls. They would probably be stronger than me in the eyes of a snake. Or facing down a snake. So cutting through here. You see we're almost back through. You know, I was concerned about how much distance there was between here and there. And how full it was. How hard it might be to clear out. But honestly, I am very impressed. It is not going to take much to open this little bit up between here and there. That's going to give me access for a driveway to come all the way through, and it doesn't have to be very wide because it'll be straight. The good thing with that is we can maintain a level of privacy that we would like to keep while having access to come in and out at our own dispose. Knock a tree down here, get it out my way, and just like that, we are back. April's over here looking at me like I'm funny because I just went all lumberjack Jim going through the woods. Reason she didn't follow me, she's wearing shorts. All them thorns that was reaching out biting me, they would have tore her up, so I don't blame her for that. Here you can see some of them mayhaw trees. Some are doing good, some are not doing good. We've been here since 2001. Not on this piece of property, but back in Louisiana. After we finished up our military service, we came back here. And I have never seen these mayhaw trees produce fruit. April remembers it when she was younger that they produced fruit, but I think the squirrels, the raccoons, everybody else wildlife wise, I think they get all access to that, but we have not. Now you see some piles like this. See a clearing over there. I went and cut some of that all the other day. I'm about to come in here and grab all this once they're done. Clean all this up. I don't think I'm going to have to open this up much more at all once we get it cleaned up. We'll just have to pull the stumps and all, but I think there's plenty of room to bring a truck and a tractor and a trailer through here and do whatever we're going to do. Then we'll have this big open area. The only restrictions we have on this pipeline, which, as I said, here's the fence line. The pipeline is going to pretty much run right through there. And pretty much right through there, give or take, is that we can't build any permanent structures on top of it. We obviously can't dig and put anything in the ground right there, or we might hit the line. But they did say we could put a driveway on top of it. Now, will I put a driveway on top of it, or will I put the driveway just off of it? I don't know. Here's one of the stakes. This is where they're going to bore. That's 158 plus 86.8. That's their elevation basis. I'm not quite sure where they're going or how deep they're going. Some of you guys out there might understand how the elevation numbers work. I don't. I'm sure I could look it up and figure it out, but I got all this stuff I got to look up and figure out. I may put the driveway on this side of the pipeline and have this right at the edge. I may just make the whole thing driveway and just put markers down it showing that's where it is. That being the case, I'll have plenty of room to drive vehicles in and out as long as I stay off the pipeline. Now, I said the pipeline's going to be 4, 5, 6 foot deep. Clay on top of it, dirt on top of it, rock on top of that. I could drive pretty much anything I wanted on top of it and it wouldn't hurt the pipeline. They said I can put a driveway on top of it and drive on top of it, as long as I don't get silly heavy bringing like buildings in on top of trucks. So here I started cleaning up a little bit more. I kind of got a little embarrassed because it was all growed up. I did cut most of the pasture and the entryway for them so they could see their stakes, but the rest of this was all really overgrown. You can tell, you can see. Hurricanes aren't nice down here to us. They try and take buildings away from us. They try and take trees away from us that are 50, 60, 70, 100 years old. It's just not a fun thing to ride through a hurricane. We've been through several of them. Don't really want any more.